All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKodash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in truth, sincerity, or this is the brother to Robert Shaw from GMS Los Angeles / Inner Empire, coming back with another video in the spirit. Once again, Dawadi Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, for opening the mind to his truth, allow me to wake up another day, and putting the spirit on me to do another lesson in hopes to edify the hopeful elect. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to title it, as this world gets colder, the brotherhood should become tighter, because as you brothers can see, a lot of people are going through it, man. A lot of people are catching hell. A lot of people are experiencing a lot of hardships, financial hardships, because majority of these people in this society, there's no unity as far as, the family structure, just what's the word I'm looking for? The days of people being polite, being neighborly, if that's even a word, that shit is over, man. Because this current, day and age that we live in, times is hard. Times is harder than it's ever been, and that's causing people to grow cold towards one another. I mean, the world has always been, you always have individuals out there that's, cutthroat and whatnot. But, these times that we're in with things being so expensive, the cost of living being so high, and, people are, desperate, people are doing anything to, in their mind is to survive, but us that's in this knowledge, this truth, we understand that all this is prophetic. This all these things that's happening is spoken of in the scriptures, and seeing that all these people, the mindset of the average person out here, we shouldn't have. Okay, we shouldn't have that, as far as, towards one another, that dog eat dog, and that that cutthroat spirit these people have in the world. Okay, like I said, as the world grows colder, the brotherhood should grow stronger. The bond between brothers should be stronger. The love should be greater. Okay. And of course, nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect, but, these are the things that we have to, these are the things we have to apply, work on. So with all that being said, I'm going to get right into the scriptures, Lord willing. I pray this is edifying. So the first scripture I'm going to start with is Psalms chapter 133, verse 1. It says, "Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." Okay, so that's a beautiful and pleasant sight to see, when brothers are on one accord, when brothers have, genuine love for one another, and that's not what you see in today's society, man. Majority of these people in the world, like I said, they're cutthroat. A lot of people are desperate, and if they can, find a way to scheme on somebody, to fuck somebody over, even if it's their own family member, they're gonna do it, and for the sake of becoming rich, or not even becoming rich, or just thinking they're gonna have a come up. Okay, So we shouldn't have that mentality towards one another in the truth, especially in the times that's coming, because all these things that, you know, that we use in this world, a lot of these things will get, pretty soon we're not going to be able to have access to, man. And we're really going to have to, put our trust in, really put our trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, and really show that genuine brotherly love, because it's about to get rocky out here, man. Okay, so we got to start practicing. We have to continue to practice, that mindset of being brotherly towards one another. Okay, don't just be brotherly when it's convenient. Be brotherly through the good and the bad. Okay, through it all. Okay. Read again. This is Psalms 133:1. It says, "Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." Okay, so it shouldn't be, animosity. It shouldn't be, envy and strife among the brethren. Okay, because all that is Satan, man. Is the devil. Okay, and we have to fight that shit, man. All of us. All right. I got another one. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. It says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor." Right? When you working and you doing a job that's very strenuous, you know, the more hands you have, the less strenuous and the less the load you have to worry about, doing when you have more hands. Okay, when you have more hands on deck, the job that the workload that seems to be heavy is not as heavy because you have help. And it's the same thing within the truth, man. The brotherhood. Okay, even though we know the scriptures say, "Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." Okay, which is important, very important. But we're not brothers. We're not in this thing alone. Okay. Okay, even though, yeah, there's times that brothers are alone, and brothers gotta do what they gotta do in their day to day. But collectively, we're all laboring for that same penny. Okay. So we're not, we're not alone in this thing. Okay. Brothers brothers that may go through different trials, tribulations, but we all have the same belief. We all have the same faith. Okay. Meaning, we believe in the same thing. Okay. Now it's different levels of faith. Some brothers aren't as strong spiritually as other brothers, but that's why that's why we're a body. The scriptures speak about supporting the weak. Okay. Building, that's why we build one another up. But like I said, the times that's coming, all that bickering over small BS, that shit gonna have to stop, man. That's gonna be irrelevant, because you gotta think, if when all hell breaks loose and you are with a brother, y'all gonna have to have each other's back. You gonna have to look out for brothers, man. We may have to, uh, actually, protect each other when shit get crazy. And we can't have that mind frame of, having that, wherever differences brothers may have, or, or personalities, all that shit is going to be irrelevant, man. I'm going to read again. This is Ecclesiastes 4:9. It says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow." Right. And, if a brother is going astray, or if any of us go astray. You know, you step to a brother step to you, you know, to let you know where your error is, you know, that's a beautiful thing. You know, it's beautiful when, because that's the spirit of the Lord working on that man to let you know that, you're not moving right. You know, that's really mercy. The Lord's giving you that chance to get yourself together, get ourselves together. You know, and that's the beauty of having a genuine, true brother. Okay. It says, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he have not another to help him up. You see that? Because brotherhood is for support, man. We not just out here, you know, of course, you know, we out here to do the work of the Lord. Mainly that's the mission, you know. But the Lord also set up this brotherhood up for us to support one another, to help each other out, you know, to comfort one another, to strengthen one another, not to tear each other down. Okay? Because that's the thing that's what the average nigga and spick in the world is into. They into tearing each other down. Okay? You go on the internet and you see all these different videos of our people, and you see nothing but division among our people. You see, you know, they got this whole bullshit about FBA, you know, these stupid ass niggas over here teaching or speaking about that, you know, you had foundational black Americans, you know, basically Jakes that was here before slavery or whatnot, which is bullshit, you know. But they basically pushing the fact they're doing it in a way that's causing division because, you know, they speaking about. I seen a video of them speaking about the whole hip hop movement and the different, you know, music Jake was coming out with back back in the early 1900s, and it's like, who cares, man? You know, who cares? That doesn't that doesn't that doesn't mean anything just because you know you Jakes out there talking about the Latin tribes that wasn't around when hip hop was invented. Which there's Jakes from that era, you know, so-called black men that come out and said that there were Ephraimites around when, you know, when hip hop was, you know, so-called invented. Okay, which who cares? You know, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were the same people. Okay, we come from the same nation. Okay, and that's something that's being put out there to, like I said, to cause division. But that's not gonna work on the elect. Okay, then you got this shit out here on the West Coast, you know, specifically California, mainly. I mean, I'm pretty sure it goes on in other states as well, but mainly out here, there's a major division between the Issachar and Judah. Okay, the little of Judah that's out here, there's always been issues out here between the North and the South. Okay, and you know the Lord, all you Jakes out there that's in that spirit, the Lord's gonna destroy every last one of you. Lord gonna destroy you wicked ass Negroes out here, and He's gonna destroy you wicked ass Mexicans, man. Okay, those of you that's in that spirit of hating the so-called black man, you know, calling us mayates and monkeys and all this other shit, you know, the Lord's gonna deal with y'all, man. Okay. So anyway, getting back to the topic, you know, we shouldn't have that spirit in His truth, man. And that's that old man. That's that old nigga. You know, and that old nigga has to go. All right. Let me get back in Ecclesiastes 4:10. It says, "For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he have not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone?" You see that? So this thing, you know, is like I said, we all working out our own salvation, but we're still a part of a body. They got a saying in the world, teamwork make the dream work, right? So if you have a team, you have a body around you, you know, you help each other out, you help each other carry the load, so to speak. Okay, so it's not one person doing everything, because if one person you have one man, he had to farm a land, he had to till the ground by himself. That would be very hard. That would be a very laborious thing. He won't be able to do all that on his own. He'll need an extra hand. Okay, he'll need more men to be able to cover more ground, so to speak. And that's how this truth is, man. When we go out in the camp, it's not just one brother doing everything. We all contribute, man. Every brother's supposed to be in that spirit of contributing at camp. Whether it's reading, speaking, mainly speaking, reading, holding signs, holding posts, and when you hold posts, be alert, pay attention, because brothers is out there. We out there in the elements. You got a lot of demons out here, even though we know we encamped by the angels, but we still gotta be vigilant while we out there, So this thing is all about unity. We all supposed to be in one accord, unity among the elect. I'll say, because you got a lot of guys out here that call themselves Israelites. Like, a lot of these guys are off, man. You got a lot of agents, you got a lot of demons out here, man. So it's only unity among the elect, and Lord willing, we're a part of the elect. Okay, so let me continue. This is back in Ecclesiastes 4:12. It says, "And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and the threefold cord is not quickly broken." You see that? So the more, the better. Okay. So you got more hands, the better. It is. To handle the work. Okay. So, like I said, as time goes on, it's going to get harder and harder. That's why the Lord got us around one another to support one another. Okay? You never know. Brothers may lose their job. Some brothers may be out of work, or brothers is catching hell. Brothers going through hardships, man, and brothers do what we can to help one another. Okay? But, eventually it's going to come to a time where, like I said, we all going to have that. Our faith going to have to be at a all-time high, because especially when they come with that C-hip, we're really going to have to really lean upon Yahweh Shema Shai, and if we're around one another, lean upon one another too. Okay? It says, or this is another one. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 9. It says, "Let love be without dissimulation, abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good." Right. And when you look up that word dissimulation, it means to pretend. Okay? To pretend, to act like you got love for somebody. No, we're not supposed to pretend that we got love for one another. We supposed to truly love one another, man. And someone loves you by their actions towards you, man. Their deeds towards you. Okay? Love is all about action, man. Action speaks louder than words. You can tell somebody, you can tell the Lord you love him, but if you're not doing what the Lord told you to do, then how true is your love towards the Lord? The Lord. If you tell a brother that you got love for him, and you're not doing things to show the brother that you have love for him, then how true is your love? You see? So love is all about actions, man. And it got to be genuine. Okay? It can't be, don't do things for a brother because you trying to have something to hold over the brother's head. We should be doing these things out of a pure heart. Okay? It says, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. See, we supposed to honor one another, man. Respect one another, man. Be kind to one another. Okay? Because all that friction and all that, that envying and all that strife is unnecessary, man. Especially if a brother hasn't done anything to cause that, man. Okay? It says, I'm going to read it again. It says, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Okay? So that's the mindset that we have to put on, man. Okay? Like I said, this world, is we live in a, what's the word? This society is based on capitalism, that, a lot of these businesses, all they care about is their bottom line, all they care about is how much profit they can make. They don't care if they have to crush somebody in the process of doing it. It's all about, who can rise to the occasion by any means, even if it means you destroying somebody. And that's the mind frame here, especially here in America, man, in Babylon. Okay. You got people stabbing each other in the back on a regular basis just because they think they can get ahead. They have this incentive that, to fuck somebody over just to get some fucking position or some status here, which is bald vanity, because all this shit is gonna be gone. And this society is crumbling, man. This shit is over. That whole, American dream, all that shit is bullshit. That shit is gone down the drain. That shit is circling down the drain. And a lot of people are starting to come to that realization, man, that all this shit is bullshit, man. Okay? So knowing that, hey, brotherhood should get tighter, man. Should be tighter. All right, I'm gonna get one more, then I'm gonna wrap it up. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 14. It says, now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men. And we gotta be patient toward one another. Okay, sometimes, brothers may get on each other's nerves. Sometimes brothers, you deal with certain brothers. Some brothers may seem hard-headed, and eventually, brothers that's in that spirit, brothers got to take heed, man. If brothers is telling you certain things multiple times, you got to take fucking heed, man, or the Lord is going to get rid of you, bro. Especially if it's for the same shit. Jake doing the same bullshit over and over again, man. At some point, something got to give, man. Okay? So I ain't talking about Jake is out there just being a damn knucklehead. But you are going to have brothers that have weak points. And, the brother may be sincere, but the brother may be weak in a certain area. You work with the brother until the brother gets stronger. You strengthen him. We got to strengthen one another, right? It says, see that none render evil for evil unto any man. So we not supposed to be in that tit for tat spirit. We shouldn't be rendering evil for evil, man. Shouldn't be holding grudges. Brother trespass against a brother. You make it right with the brother. You apologize to the brother, you ask the brother for forgiveness, and the brother is supposed to forgive you. Brothers, if a brother come to you, sincerely apologizes, and repents, we're supposed to forgive the man. We're not supposed to hold no grudges, okay? It says, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men, even people in the world, to the best, of our ability. Like scripture say, if it be at all possible, if it be possible, because it's not going to, you're not going to be able to be at peace with everybody. But if it is possible, you want to have that peace in your day to day. Why add unto your hell? It's hard enough, us going out there teaching and being in this world around these demons and being vexed by all this wickedness out here. Why add unto your hell by being at strife with all these people out here, man? Now, some people, they just gonna be demons regardless. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about not let us not be the ones initiating the bullshit, man. Okay, because like I said, you got people out here that they looking for trouble. Okay, you got a lot of people out here that's on demon time, man, and we don't want to give them that angle to for Satan to start throwing them darts at us, man. All right, it says rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, and that's a must. We always have to pray. Pray for one another. Pray first for pray for ourselves, pray for one another, pray for families, households. Of course, pray for the apostles and the elders. Okay, that's a must. Even wherever we go, when we out and about, always throw a prayer up. To Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Okay, it says and everything give thanks. In everything give thanks. Do the good and the bad. Always give thanks to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Okay? Because like I said, man, a lot of people are hurting out here, man. And if the Lord got you around beautiful brothers, He got you in a stable situation, man. What more can you ask for, man? And a lot of times, we tend to overlook these things. We tend to overlook, how fortunate we are in to have this truth, to have a roof over our head, to have beautiful brothers around us, sometimes we tend to take these things for granted, man. We always have to be thankful, man. There's always a reason to be thankful, especially being in this truth, okay? It says, for this is the will of the Most High and Hamashiach Yahushua concerning you. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. You see, the truth, okay? This truth is where it's at, man. Fuck what this world has to so-called offer. This world, like I said, this world is circling the drain, okay? Them glory days is over, man. Okay, and me and the brother Barack, we was talking a couple of days ago how the mirth of this place is gone, man. Recently they had Thanksgiving and they finna have Christmas now, but the spirit out here, you got a few people out here with their decorations and whatnot, but for the most part, it's dead out here, man. That mirth, the Lord is totally taking the mirth out this place. So this shit is done, man. All right, it says, abstain from all appearance of evil, let brotherly I'm jumping the gun because I got the scriptures lined up to another sluggy. We read that again. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:22. It says, abstain from all appearance of evil. You see that? And And that like going back to Jake in the world, Jake got that evil eye towards their brother. That's an evil appearance, okay? You look at these hip hop niggas and how these Jakes, they have tattoos all over their fucking body. Our women our women are whored out, okay? We're not supposed to be mirroring these niggas in the world, Even these false pastors out here, with smooth ass face, bald ass head, in these $5,000 suits. Even guys that call themselves Israelites. You got dudes that call themselves Israelites that go out there with their beard lined up, their head lined up, okay, with dreadlocks. Dudes teaching with fitted caps on, just looking like a bunch of niggas. Okay, we're not supposed to have that image, especially when we out there teaching, man. When we out there presenting ourselves to the world, we're a representation of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So we have to give the right presentation, man. And like I said, a lot of these Jakes, they don't got it. All right. Now, yeah, that's what I was wanting. That's what the scripture I wanted to end with. This is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 1. It says, "Let brotherly love continue," and that's the point. Pointing me to going in all of this, is that brotherly love, man. Okay, brotherly love has to continue. Okay, now and when all hell breaks loose, Now, we don't know exactly what situations or scenarios we're going to be in, but we know the scriptures say some of us are going to be martyrs, okay? Some of us are going to be beheaded for the testimony of Yahweh Shai, okay? But we also know some of the elect, well, not some of the elect, but a lot of the elect is going to get that spiritual power, okay? Not all the elect is going to be beheaded. So somebody's going to get that spiritual power, right? Somebody is going to be one of those that's going to be beheaded. But either way, it's a win-win for the elect. Those that are martyrs, they're going to be risen first. Okay? So either way, it's a win-win for the Lord's elect. But the point is, I'm stressing in this video is that brotherly love got to be there, man. For real. Because like I said, these times that we're coming into, it's gonna get real ugly out here, man. And we don't want to, be in that spirit of, doing our own thing, having that selfish ass mind frame. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that, I'm gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, the monitors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect. Push this word in true sincerity. Shalom.